You know, I can close for you if you want.
Huh?
If you want to get out of here, you can. You don't have to be stuck here alone. I can handle closing.
Would that be okay?
I think so. You should go home and get some rest.
I don't know if it'll work, but it looks about the same shape as yours.
Oh.
The best part is it's plastic, so it won't break as easily.
But it's gummy goo. Can't the job wait a bit? It's not like this is real.
Next you're gonna say my authority isn't real.
Now I know what you're thinking. I don't want a career in fast food. I want to be a comic artist and eventually launch my own manga-inspired webcomic. And it's cool to have dreams, but you also need to remember that they're completely unrealistic.
Oh, Agatha. I love her, but after a while it gets kinda hard to tell how genuine she's actually being. Anyway, we can't spend all night out here talking about our feelings. We've got work to do.
Episode 4 is an interesting episode. It mostly tries to focus on one character, Gangle. We're able to find out a lot of things about her and what she went through before she was plopped into the circus. When she's finally able to be free, it's a very emotional scene that takes everything that came before in this episode come all together in a beautiful tear-jerker moment before it's ripped away from us from the truck. All this to say that episode 4 is a great episode, and Gangle is a great character. But I feel like Gangle should have had more as a character. And maybe my problem will be solved in episode 9. So I'm not gonna completely say that this is a correct criticism, but right now it just feels weird. 'Cause unlike the other characters, Gangle doesn't have a big impact on the story. Gangle, like all the other characters, has an impact on the audience, but the story not so much. All the other characters impact the story in some way. Ragatha and Jax's whole opposing views haunt the narrative throughout the entire series. Pomni, the main character, connects all the characters together and rallies them all into completing these goals. Kinger is the entire reason Kane exists, allowing him to make the digital circus. Kane is also the main antagonist, at least throughout the entire thing until episode 8. And Zubul is the main culprit that antagonizes Kane throughout the entire series. Gangle unintentionally helps Zubul with her problems. And that's about it. There's nothing more that I can think of that Gangle has done. If there is, please tell me. I would like to know. But I don't know. It seems like to me that Gangle, though, is a great character, just doesn't do enough in the story for me to think that she's as good as the other characters, unfortunately. And I think what makes this more devastating to me is that going into the Amazing Digital Circus, when the pilot aired, I was most anticipating Gangle to be my favorite. And I think it just sucks that right now she's gone all the way down to the bottom for me, and it just sucks. If Gangle is your favorite character, don't let this hurt you or anything. This is just my opinion. You don't have to agree. Love Gangle all you want. It doesn't matter. They're your favorite character, and I want to respect that. Because at the end of the day, this is all just opinions. With that out of the way, let's talk about Episode 4, Fast Food Masquerade. In the beginning of the episode, Jax accidentally hits Gangle, but because of how much he has tormented them, Ragatha doesn't believe him. This will go into our love and hate folder. Because of the way Jax has treated them, Ragatha thinks anytime he hurts someone, it's always on purpose. I'll also be giving a point for Jax and Rags, because we learn that Jax isn't always trying to torment them. And Rags, as I said before, always will be thinking that Jax's actions will always be purposeful. I'll also give a point to Not As Things Seem, because Jax accidentally hurt Gangle, which we have not seen before. Jax is capable of trying to be kind. Zubul giving Gangle the mask is a form of the love and hate theme. Zubul right now is trying to help Gangle with the problems she's been having because she cares for her. I'm gonna give a point to both Zubul and Gangle here. Zubul's goal right now is to help Gangle fix the problem that she's been having, is deciding to trust Zubul right now. After Jax jokes about Pomni not getting a unicorn horn, Gangle decides to be open and direct towards Pomni and tells her how she thinks that Pomni would look good with a unicorn horn, showing the mask is already affecting her. I'll be giving a point to Gangle for that, and I'll be giving a point to the More Than They Seem folder. For the mask is more than just keeping her happy. It seems to be changing her personality. Kane's adventure once again goes towards the stagnant life theme, just like before. Pomni finally speaks up about how she feels like the adventures are too much for them. That is a point to Pomni. We then talk about the suggestion box and how Kane forgot about it. We also see him get a bit annoyed for the first time. And we also learn how he doesn't know what's normal to the cast. That's 3 points for Kane. And Zubul herself is the one that mentions it to Kane. So that's a point for Zubul. And then we also have Gangle, who tries to direct Kane into what they should do for the adventure today. Kane giving Gangle the leader role for the adventure is a point towards the theme love and hate. Kane is showing appreciation towards Gangle, and with no hesitation. And we see Gangle smile, showing how his actions have affected her. I'll also be giving a point to Kane for that, because that is a big thing that we have not seen him be able to do. Then, when Kane makes a silly face with his tongue, Bubble's tongue disappears, as if they're both connected. Things are not as they seem, and Kane is getting another point here. This is also why I didn't give Bubble a theme folder, because it is implied that Bubble is Kane's inner thoughts. Zubul, once again, doesn't want to go on the adventure, but Kane is not having it this time. 1 point for Kane, as he forces Zubul into going into the adventure. And I'm giving a point for Zubul for being forced into it. I'll be giving another point to Kinger as well, since he was the one that suggested the idea, you could say, for Zubul to replace him for the adventure. I will be giving a point towards nihilism versus existentialism, as Kane is showing a lack of care about Zubul's feelings right here. Gangle then reveals that she used to be a shift manager back when she was in the real world. Now, we're in the adventure, and we get to see Gangle's change in attitude, showing that the mask is changing her a lot here. It's more than just a happy mask. It's changing her entire personality. I'll be giving Gangle 2 points, as she is taking charge immediately, and gives Kane the idea of punishing anyone that doesn't do good at the job. Jax also becomes genuine here, asking why she did that. So I'll be giving Jax 1 point. I'll also be giving Kane a point, as with Gangle's request, he's realized he has missed something for his adventures, which is motivation. We see Zubul actually deciding to start working in the restaurant. And then we see Orbsman coming in for the first time, and Rags comes in and reveals that he is from a previous adventure. Then Jax sees Orbsman and reveals how much he hates Orbsman. And then Gangle shows how much she's taking this job seriously, telling Jax to wait until after hours to complain about him. Next, we have an NPC who is addicted to this thing called stupid sauce, which supposedly makes you stupid. Ragatha, who is making the burgers, accidentally gets some in her eyes, and it causes her to, well, as the NPC said, become stupid. This is weird, as Kane has said before that he does not have the ability to control their minds, and yet this is technically him being able to mess with it a bit. Things are more than they seem. We then go into a conversation between Zubul and Jax, talking about whether or not Kane would actually punish them. Jax believes that he wouldn't, but Zubul says that the only reason he is the way they are with them is that he likes all of them, showing that Zubul does in fact understand that Kane doesn't hate them, which kind of feels a bit off with how she talked with him last episode. But anyways, I'm going to be giving a point to nihilism versus existentialism, since this scene is all about them, if what Kane said on the phone actually matters or not. We then get to Gummy Goo's return, where Pomni is, of course, freaked out at first, and Gummy Goo is just trying to get an order for him and his friends. Gummy Goo is a bit freaked out by Pomni's reaction, so I'm giving him 2 points here. And then Pomni, I'll be giving her 2 points because of what I said before, and the fact that she realizes that this Gummy Goo might not be the same Gummy Goo as before. I'll be giving Love to Hate a point here, as Pomni's love for Gummy Goo affects her a lot in this scene. Gangle sees that Pomni is not where she needs to be for the job, and asks Ragatha where she is, and Ragatha tells her how Pomni's spending time with Gummy Goo instead of them, showing a type of jealousy. And then she reveals how she would like to be flirted to. I'll be giving Ragatha 2 points there. Gangle, going to get Pomni back to the register, tells her to stop disturbing the customers. And when Pomni tries to talk back, Gangle feels like it's her questioning Gangle's authority. I'll be giving Gangle 2 points for that. I'm going to be giving Pomni a point here for trying to talk it out with Gangle. I'll be giving Gummigoo a point for reaching his hand out, because that's pretty strange, as if maybe, just maybe, he might be remembering her a bit. I'll be giving a point to Nihilism versus Existentialism, since Pomni's and Gangle's conversation here is about whether or not the job really matters. I'll also be giving a point to Love and Hate, because Pomni wants to rekindle her friendship with Gummigoo. And I'll be giving a point to More Than Things Seem, because of Gummigoo's action of trying to put his hand on Pomni. We can see Jax looking at the clock, showing us that he's just waiting out the time while he works there. We then have an NPC selfishly in front of the line just eating cereal. And then we have the Gloink Queen returning, where she shows weirdly care for an NPC that her children are beating up. And then Ragtha asking the Gloink Queen, we find out that she cares for every single one of the Gloinks. I'll be giving the NPCs 3 points. I'll also be giving Ragatha a point, as we can see that she weirdly finds it beautiful for some reason. I'll be giving Love and Hate a point, as the Gloink Queen's love for her children affects Ragatha. When Pomni goes and says goodbye to Gummigoo, I think this is her realizing 2 things. One, when she looks back at Ragatha, that's her realizing that she already has people that she can be with. She doesn't need Gummigoo. And Gummigoo is trapped to be an NPC that's just reused over and over again. And so there's no point in telling him about their past. So I'll be giving Pomni 2 points here. I'll also be giving a point to the NPC folder, as Gummigoo smiles back at her and, unknowingly or not, cheers her up with it. This will also be a point for Love and Hate, as this scene is all about Pomni's love for Gummigoo and how she has to let go of it. The scene where Jax still is not listening to Gangle shows the themes Nihilism versus Existentialism and Love and Hate. Nihilism because Jax is showing how much he does not care about the job. Love and Hate because Jax shows how much he does not care about Gangle's authority. I'm going to give a point to each of them, as Gangle is putting Jax in his place, and Jax is being put in his place. When Jax is being forced to watch the videotape, we see that Jax doesn't want to be humiliated in front of people, and we see fear in him for the first time in the series. We also learn that Gangle wanted to be a manga artist by what she says in the videotape, but something happened that made her believe that she couldn't fulfill that dream. I'll be giving 2 points to Jax and 1 point to Gangle, and I will also be giving 2 points to More Than Things Seem, as we learn some new things about the characters that show they're more than just their archetypes. When we go back to Ragatha, we see that Zubul is getting annoyed by her, and by the end of the scene, Zubul is seeing how Gangle is not doing so well. I'll be giving Zubul 2 points for this scene. Ragatha calls Zubul a grouch, as well as telling Gangle that she is annoying with that new mask of hers. And we also learn that Ragatha might have had a more expensive experience in the real world. That is 3 points for Ragatha. Gangle tries to get Ragatha to start working better. First, trying to be nice, and then trying to warn her. And finally, when Ragatha tells her she's being annoying, it affects her greatly. 3 points to Gangle. I'll be giving a point to Love and Hate, as Ragatha's attitude affects Gangle immensely. And I'll be giving 2 points to More Than Things Seem, because we're seeing Ragatha being a bit mean to everyone, even though it's unintentional. And we're seeing Zubul worrying about Gangle. When Jax talks to Gangle about the clock, he exclaims that it must be broken. 1 point for him. And then Gangle goes on a whole spiel about the idea that they are broken. This reveals to us to how Gangle views herself. She sees herself as broken because she isn't normal. That because of her DID, she believes she needs to be fixed. I'll be giving a point to Gangle with that reveal, and I'll be giving a point to More Than Things Seem, as we learn things about Gangle and how she's more than just the sad one. When Jax runs into Ragatha, we find out from Ragatha that she hates Jax, but doesn't want Jax to hate her. I'll be giving a point to her and to More Than Things Seem, as she's shown that she's more than just the nice one. Then Jax goes and sees how Pomni's doing, which is very unlike him. And Pomni, of course, is weirded out by it, but is also a little intrigued. I'll be giving a point to both of them. And I'll be giving a point to More Than Things Seem, because we have not seen Jax be like this before. In the bag, Gangle finally lets all her anguish out, and Pomni is there to see it. Gangle reveals to Pomni how it's hard to know when Ragatha is being sincere or not, and when Pomni tries to talk to her and help her out, it does not work, and Gangle just brushes things aside and leaves. I'll be giving Gangle 3 points here. Pomni tries to help, but sees it as just one of those, and that's why it doesn't work, because she's not being 100% genuine. And so when Gangle leaves, she's left there bewildered and confused. That'll be 2 points to Pomni. I'll be giving a point towards Stagnant Life, because Pomni thinks of it as one of those. So she just sees it as doing something over again. When Jax leaves, what he says makes Gangle feel worse for how she acted during the adventure. So I'll be giving a point to her. When Jax is out of Spudsies, we get to see the real side of him. I'll be giving a point to Love and Hate for how Jax affects Gangle with what he says, and I'll be giving a point to More Than Things Seem, as we see Jax's real side outside of Spudsies. Zubul talks to Gangle and decides to stay to help with cleaning up and to bring Ragatha back home, since she's in bad shape to drive by herself. I'll be giving a point to Zubul here, and we see Gangle slowly deteriorating from the job. I'll be giving her a point here. I'll be giving a point to Love and Hate as well, since Zubul is showing care for both Ragatha and Gangle. Then, before Gangle spirals out, Pomni talks to Gangle and suggests for Pomni herself to close instead of Gangle, so she can go rest and take care of herself. Gangle, though at first hesitant, does go with the idea and leaves Spudsies, letting Pomni close for her. I'll be giving a point to each of the characters, and I'll be giving a point to Love and Hate, as Pomni showing care for Gangle, showing Gangle how Pomni has paid attention and sees how Gangle needs help. Gangle, now free to do whatever she wants, takes the mask and throws it away. She doesn't need it. She can just be herself. And that makes her free. And we see that she can be happy without a comedy mask or any other kind of mask. Underneath her real face, she can still be happy even with tears. 2 points for Gangle. I'm giving a point to More Than Things Seem. As we can see, she could be a lot more than the sad one, even without a comedy mask. And then she gets hit by Truck-chan. Kane then ruins it once again, just like he did in episode 2 with Gummy Goo. Point for Stagnant Life. We can see that Kane also just is not good at reading people, and that he's very lax, not really wanting to punish anyone. And we see that he's glitching a bit.
I am such a good.
3 points to Kane, and I'll be giving a point to Gangle, as she takes responsibility for leaving early, instead of blaming Pomni. I'll be giving a point to Love and Hate, as Kane unknowingly affects Gangle in this moment, and I'll be giving another point to Not As Things Seem, because of Kane's glitching. Lastly, Zubul goes and comforts Gangle. I'll be giving Zubul a point here. Gangle tells Zubul how she feels like, with how she acted in the adventure, no one wants to hang out with her, and Zubul reassures her that Zubul at least still likes her, and Gangle decides to go join them. Love and Hate is given a point here, as well as Not As Things Seem, because of Zubul and her trying to help Gangle out. And that is episode 4. Gangle is a great character, and I hope she gets something more in the last episode, because I enjoy all these characters, and I just want Gangle to have something more than just the emotional weight she carries with the audience. But I guess that's just me. I'm very excited for the next episode, because it is one of my favorites. I cannot wait to get to episode 6, because that is my favorite episode yet in this series. But that's getting a bit carried away. I'll see you guys next time when we talk about episode 5, Untitled. See you on the flip side.